You have felt it before, that deep, throbbing, unbearable pain coming from inside your tooth. The kind of pain that makes it impossible to think about anything else. The kind of pain that makes you reach for medicine within minutes. But what if there was no medicine? What if there was no dentist? What if the only thing standing between you and that pain was whatever your civilization happened to believe was causing it? Because for thousands of years, humans had toothaches just like yours. And what they did about it is so disturbing, so bizarre, so genuinely horrifying, that by the end of this video, you will never complain about going to the dentist again. Here is where the story starts. And it starts with a worm. For thousands of years, across Babylon, ancient Egypt, ancient China, medieval Europe, almost every civilization on Earth believed the exact same thing about toothaches. They believed a tiny worm was living inside your tooth, boring holes through it, wriggling around inside it, causing every throb of pain you felt. They called it the toothworm. And this was not a fringe belief. This was mainstream medical understanding across multiple civilizations for thousands of years. Babylonian inscriptions dating back to 5000 BC describe the toothworm in detail. Ancient Egyptian medical texts reference it. Medieval European physicians treated it as established medical fact. The toothworm was so widely believed that it persisted as medical theory all the way to the 18th century. 1800. That is less than 300 years ago. When someone told you your tooth hurt because of a worm, they genuinely believed they were helping you. Now here is where it gets truly disturbing. If a worm was inside your tooth, the obvious solution was to get the worm out. And the methods ancient humans used to do that will make your stomach turn. The first method, honey. Ancient people coated their aching tooth in honey and then sat with tweezers in their hand all night, waiting to catch the toothworm as it came out to eat the honey. All night, with tweezers, waiting for a worm that did not exist. If you think that is bad, it gets worse. Spider juice. An actual documented treatment for toothache was a liquid made from boiling spiders, eggshells, and oil together until it reduced to 1/3 of its volume. The sufferer then held this liquid in their mouth, boiled spider juice, in their mouth, for the pain. Still not the worst one. In ancient Greece, the recommended treatment for toothache was donkey's milk used as a mouthwash. In some cultures, a frog was pressed directly against the cheek on the side of the aching tooth. Not a medicine made from a frog, an actual live frog, pressed against your face for the toothache. Now here's where it gets both incredible and horrifying at the same time, because some ancient humans actually figured out that the only real way to stop a toothache was to deal with the tooth directly. And 14,000 years ago, archaeologists found evidence of a human skull in which a rotten tooth had been deliberately scraped and cleaned with a small flint tool. No anesthetic, no painkillers, just a sharp piece of flint and someone determined to clean out the rot. That is the oldest known dentistry in human history. 14,000 years ago. By 9,000 years ago, humans were drilling teeth, not with electric drills, with bow drills, the same tool used to start fires, pressed against the tooth and rotated by hand. Archaeologists found perfectly drilled teeth in ancient graves in Pakistan dating back 9,000 years. The holes were so clean and precise that researchers initially could not believe they were made without modern equipment. Ancient humans were performing dental surgery 9,000 years ago on fully conscious patients with no painkillers, and some of those patients had multiple teeth drilled in the same session. Drilling was only half the problem. Once you drilled out the rotten tissue, you needed to fill the hole, and ancient humans found ways to do that too. In 2012, researchers examining a 6,500-year-old human jaw found something extraordinary attached to one of the teeth, a filling made of beeswax applied 6,500 years ago to seal a cavity. Beeswax is actually a reasonable filling material. It is antibacterial, it molds to the tooth shape, and it seals out bacteria. The ancient human who applied that beeswax filling was doing something that was genuinely medically sound. Not everything they tried was wrong, but then there were the ancient Chinese, who treated toothache by applying arsenic directly to the tooth, the poison, applied to an aching tooth to kill the nerve. And here's the darkest part. It actually worked. Arsenic does kill nerve tissue. The pain would stop, but so would several other things if you were not extremely careful with how much you used. When nothing else worked, the tooth came out. And tooth extraction in the ancient world was not a clinical procedure with anesthetic and precision instruments. It was a violent, terrifying, genuinely dangerous event. In medieval Europe, tooth extraction was performed not by doctors, but by barber surgeons. The same person who cut your hair also pulled your teeth, using pliers, while you were fully awake, with no pain relief whatsoever. Some barber surgeons became famous for how quickly they could pull a tooth. Speed was the only mercy they could offer. The Roman physician Celsus described toothache as, and this is a direct historical quote, among the worst of tortures. His recommended pain relief mixture included opium from poppies, mandrake root, which contains hallucinogenic compounds, and the scent gland secretions of beavers. You read that correctly. Beaver scent glands, as a painkiller for your tooth. So here's what all of this tells you. Toothache is not a modern problem. Humans have been suffering from tooth pain for as long as humans have existed, and for most of that history. The treatments range from useless to genuinely dangerous. Honey with tweezers, spider juice, frog on the face, arsenic on the nerve, a bow drill with no anesthetic. These were not the treatments of stupid people. These were the best answers that brilliant, resourceful humans could find with the knowledge they had. The next time you sit in a dentist's chair and feel nervous, remember this: you are sitting in the safest, most painless version of this experience that has ever existed in all of human history. The person before you had a frog pressed against their face, and a person with tweezers waiting all night for a worm that was never coming. If this made you appreciate your dentist for the first time ever, there is so much more where that came from. Every strange thing about being human has a story that goes back further than you think. Subscribe to Strangely, and next time, we go somewhere even darker than this.